The Changing Seasons. In a small village nestled in the hills, there lived a gardener named Thomas. He was a quiet man, content in the solitude of his garden, which he tended to with an unwavering devotion. His garden was a patchwork of flowers, vegetables, and fruit trees, each section carefully arranged to follow the rhythm of the seasons. Over the years, Thomas had cultivated not just plants, but a deep understanding of life's cycles, its ebbs and flows. The village often called on him for advice, and though he rarely spoke of his wisdom directly, those who visited him in his garden often left with more than they came for. One autumn afternoon, a young man named David came to visit Thomas. David had been struggling with a difficult period in his life. He had lost his job, his relationship was falling apart, and he felt as though everything he had worked for was slipping away. Frustrated, he sought out Thomas, hoping for some answers. "Thomas," David began, his voice heavy with uncertainty, "I feel like everything in my life is falling apart. I work hard, but nothing seems to stay the same. It's like I'm constantly losing things, and I don't know how to handle it. How do you keep going when everything changes so much?" Thomas, who had been gently pruning a rose bush, paused and looked at David with kind eyes. He motioned for him to sit on a bench beneath a large oak tree. The garden around them was alive with the colors of fall, golden leaves drifting from the trees, the last of the summer blooms fading into quiet rest. "David," Thomas said slowly, "you're asking about something that we all face. Change. It's constant. But change isn't always something to resist, it's something to understand." David looked puzzled. "What do you mean?" Thomas stood up and gestured to the garden. "Look around you. Each plant in this garden goes through seasons. The flowers bloom in the spring, the fruits ripen in the summer, and in the fall, the leaves turn and fall away. Winter comes, and everything seems to sleep. But it's all part of a cycle. Every season has its time, and every season eventually passes." David looked at the trees, their branches now bare except for the occasional stubborn leaf clinging to the last vestiges of summer. "But what happens when it's winter? Doesn't everything just die?" Thomas smiled gently, "Winter seems like death, but it is only rest. The garden appears still, but beneath the surface, life is preparing for the next cycle. The earth is gathering strength, waiting for the warmth of spring. Without winter, there would be no renewal, no fresh start. It is part of the rhythm, just like the other seasons." David nodded slowly, beginning to understand. "You see," Thomas continued, "our lives are like the garden. Sometimes we are in the spring of new beginnings, filled with energy and hope. At other times, we're in the summer, enjoying the fruits of our hard work. But there are also times when we experience fall, the letting go of things, the fading of what we once held close. And winter comes, where it feels like everything has stopped, but underneath, the seeds for new growth are being prepared." David looked out at the quiet garden, the truth of Thomas's words settling within him. "Life doesn't stay the same," Thomas said softly, "and it's not meant to. The key is to accept each season as it comes. If we resist the fall, we miss the beauty of letting go. If we fight the winter, we don't allow ourselves the time to rest and renew. Acceptance brings peace. When we embrace the changing seasons of life, we can find grace in every moment, even when it feels like everything is shifting." David sat in silence, the weight on his heart lifting slightly with each passing word. He thought about how he had tried to hold on to the summer of his life, resisting the changes that had come with the fall. He had been so focused on the losses that he hadn't seen the beauty of the quiet moments or the potential for new growth. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the garden, Thomas stood and patted David's shoulder. "Remember, my friend," he said, "you are like the garden. Each season will come in its time. What you feel now will not last forever. There is always something new waiting to emerge when the time is right." David looked up at Thomas, a quiet understanding in his eyes. "Thank you," he said, feeling a sense of peace he had not known in a long time. As he left the garden, David walked more slowly, his steps lighter. The changing seasons no longer seemed like a threat. Instead, they felt like a reminder of life's impermanence, yes, but also of its continuous possibility. Just as the garden would bloom again after winter, so too would his life. The next time the seasons began to shift in his life, David would remember the wisdom of the garden, that change, in all its forms, was simply a part of the dance of life. And by accepting each season as it came, he would be able to move through them with grace, knowing that, like the garden, his own cycles of growth and renewal would continue. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.